We're here for another episode of When the Kids Go to Bed. Shh. I'm your girl, Shells, everyone's favourite baby mother. Because I'm not yours, probably, that's why. Joking.
100% right.
And this is my co-host.
Truly the best. Truly the best.
She said it twice, just in case you didn't get it the first time. And on today's episode, we are joined by none other than Mr. Durrty.
What is happening, ladies? How you doing? What's happening?
Dirty.
Something
dirty,
like
dirty.
that. Do whatever you want with it. Sing it.
A little
talk
freestyle
it.
for you. Because you're the music man,
God,
isn't it?
do you know what you should have? Do you know what? Next time I come here, I'm
She
expecting
can make you a little jingle.
8 bars each. That's what I'm expecting next time I come
Can
here.
you imagine?
I just don't know how to say it, like.
Yeah,
Mr.
all right, tell us
Durrty,
how it says.
Mr. Durrty.
You're just making it sound very. You're making
I
it sound
know,
like it come from Surrey. or
Because
something.
that's who I am, guys. Like, I pronounce my T's. Like,
All right, but pronounce the U's and the extra R's. You know,
Mr. Dirty.
Dirty.
Mr. Dirty.
You know, like if you was
Dirty.
in a West Indian food shop.
Dirty.
No.
Yeah, boss, dirt. You don't say boss, boss.
I get-
dirt.
You're from Northwest, innit?
Got it. Me, I'm just...
From London. It's London.
Tell us about yourself. What do you do?
So artist first and foremost. Music's been my thing for about 21 years now. Been doing music for a very long time. And I've got into film of late over the past couple of years.
Actor.
No.
Producer.
I write and direct films.
Nice.
Write and direct films over the past. I've done a few over the past 2 years now. So this is where I've been and doing chats and all of these kind of things. I run a show on Instagram Live every Sunday called Dirty Debates. So, yeah.
Which I've featured on a couple of
couple of times now.
I'm also loving the hat, the MMBM hat.
Yes, the people them,
Yeah,
family.
dude.
Money must be made.
It must be.
100%. Love
It
it.
must be compulsory.
So what we're going to talk about today?
So you're a parent as well as a very talented man,
Appreciate
right?
that. Yes, I am.
So today we wanted to talk about getting into child and parent alienation
Okay.
because it's a very big topic, and us being your favorite baby mothers, we're connoisseurs when it comes to talking about co-parenting, drama, and all the different things in between that can happen. So I just wanted to see what, from a guy's point of view, because we always talk about it from like the female perspective,
Yeah.
you know, how it impacts us when...
And we're probably never really alienated from our children.
Exactly.
Because mums tend to end up being the main
lead
carer.
carers, yeah.
So we probably don't really know what that's like as much as fathers.
we can always imagine. And I guess when you're angry with the father of your child who is not necessarily in the house anymore, we can always just assume, or maybe because we're angry, we're not really thinking about how it might be impacting you. But I've got close males to me who are going through child alienation, and they're having difficulties, you know, communicating with the mother of their child. And it is really, really damaging for them. So I wanted to see from a male's perspective, have you got any experience in this, and how
know
is
what?
it impacting you?
Too much experience. Let's start with that.
Too
Yeah,
much. How many
experience, yeah.
children do you have?
I have 2 children.
Two
so
children,
I've got
okay.
a big boy who's going to be 15 this year, and I have a small son who's going to be 2 in September.
Two. Okay. So very
Yeah.
different ends of the spectrum.
Very different ends of the spectrum. So my first parenting experience was completely different because of my age.
Yeah, yeah,
I was a lot younger. When she fell pregnant, I was 19.
okay.
Do you know what I
Very
mean?
young,
So
yeah.
it's a complete different. It's children having children. When you look back at 19-year-olds now,
Yeah,
we know it's kids that we're talking to.
Yeah.
With all due respect, because some
Yeah,
of them
yeah,
are doing
yeah.
their thing and making their money and whatever else it is.
Yeah.
But in regards to society and dealing with certain things, you're still kind of, I still see you as young, very young. If you know
Yeah,
what I mean.
definitely.
Well, I was anyway. So the experience was very different. What I've come to realize later on is that I had a major part to play in her energy towards me. When you're going through it at the time, you don't necessarily realize, you just think the person's being, and I didn't realize that, again, being 18, she's going through the transformation of child
Becoming
to woman, a mother, and
Yeah.
whichever else it is. So she's going through certain things herself,
yeah,
generally. And then on top of that, she's a I'm now a mum, and then on top of that, we're beefing.
Yeah.
So she's having to navigate through all of this stuff, and I didn't look at it like that way
Yeah.
beforehand. I just thought the woman that I was once with and we was great and doing this Bonnie and Clyde up and down on the roads together, blah, 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 has just turned into this absolute monster.
And so did you experience not seeing your child, or like, was it
Do you
difficult?
know what? To be honest with you, with major credits to her, she didn't really do the whole you can't see him thing.
Yeah.
Because I think she kind of always knew it's not fucking with nobody except for her, excuse my language, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's not really messing with anyone but the child, if you know what I mean. So she didn't really too much, but there was times that things had happened which then led to me not being able to see my child. So for example, when we was beefing, I'll give you an example. There was a time that she'd accused me of putting my hands on her when we was beefing.
And
On
it wasn't
God,
the case.
I had never put my hands on her.
Okay.
Thank God there was CCTV to prove my point on all of these things, because it happened in public.
Okay.
So it came out that I didn't put my hands on her, but in that space of time that the police were investigating things or whatever else, is my bail conditions were that I weren't allowed to see him or speak to him.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to contact her via first party, second party, third party, any type of party.
Okay.
So I can't send a message to my brother, because before my brother was like the mutual contact between us. So when me and her were beefing, my brother was kind of like the person she still had that respect for.
Yeah.
So I wasn't allowed to send messages to my brother in order to send to my son. I couldn't send things for my son. So this went on for about 2.5 months. Now 2.5 months don't seem like
It's
a long time.
It is.
It is, of course.
I was in
like
that
I
house.
said, most mums we don't even know what that's like.
This is what I'm saying. So I was there every day.
Mm.
Every day we was living together. So it was not like, oh, you was there and I was there. Even at times where we were beefing, so to speak, we still tried to stay around each other, which was probably unhealthy. Not probably, was unhealthy.
Yeah.
But I was always there, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It wasn't a time where I just disappeared for a bit, or there was a couple of weeks where he didn't see his dad or whatever. That just didn't happen ever.
In those 2.5 months, or on any occasion over the years where you haven't had access to him, what kind of impact does that have on your life, your mental health, your
At the
emotions?
time, I'm trying to go back, because again, it was a very long time ago. This is when he was quite young. At the time, I'll be very honest with you, I was in a very volatile space. If I'm just being raw and honest, I hope you lot can, can manage this.
No, it's cool.
Yeah,
but the honesty is the best.
Yeah.
I was in a very, very volatile space. I remember being on a bus somewhere. I can't remember where I was, but I was on a bus and I was talking to my brother. And he was talking to me and I didn't hear nothing he said. I remember talking to him and not remembering anything I was saying to him. But at that specific moment, I remember passing this bus stop in these trees. And I was coming from court. Never forget it. It's just hit me now. I was coming
that
from
court situation to do with?
No, this was to do with something else.
separate,
But at the time, we was going through, it was the same time that I was going through my bail conditions. So I couldn't go and, there was no sort of, it was just a hot time for me, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to my brother, mid-conversation randomly, if it gets to a stage where someone is telling me, some sort of judge is telling me that I can't see my child or whatever else it is, I'm going to kill everyone.
Gosh, sounds so drastic.
And I was on the bus, and I said this out loud, and I was dead serious. Let somebody have told me in that little space of time there that, yeah, you can't see him and you've got once a month for 2 hours, because this is the kind of stuff that I was hearing.
Yeah.
When people were suggesting,
Yeah.
you are mad. I go from every day to once a month. There's going to be one of them college shootings.
But explain that
explain
that feeling a little bit. Describe how you're actually feeling, because I can understand, I can guess.
Do you know what it is? It's very hard to describe as somebody, just, you know how much you love your child. You know what it feels like to be there every single day.
Yeah.
Imagine somebody walked in today and said, you can't. You can't spend time with your child.
It's like,
just imagine it.
Yeah, I've seen like in a film one time where they took the child, the social services come. I remember watching the film thinking, not me.
No,
I remember thinking, not me.
Never.
You'd have to hold me down on the floor and arrest me and put before I let you take my child. So
exactly. That's exactly where my mind was at. And I went through, if I'm being brutally honest with you guys again, I went through the stages of in arguments. Later, like you said, or telling them one off, they can't come and see the child. You tell me that, I'll get to your house even faster. I swear to God, that's what I was on. I'm telling you, there was times that I'll be honest with you, been arrested for we're having that argument. You press the red button and tell me I can't see him. I turn up,
Booting
through
down
the
the
door.
door.
Who can't see this child? I swear, it never got to a
But
point
I
where
swear
we
that
were,
will just make the woman even more want to tell you that. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's
Yeah.
not going to respond
guess
to.
so. I guess so.
Do you know what I mean? Like you
guess
turning
so,
up
but-
and you demanding and like.
my
do you know what I mean?
message was, remember, I'm never going anywhere.
And it goes back
And
to
it
what
was
you
nothing
were
to do
saying as
with
well.
nothing to do with me and you, because I'm not fighting for an us at this
Yeah,
point. At
yeah.
any given point, I'm not
Yeah.
fighting for us to be back together, and it was never that with us. As much as we had tried to do it, it was all about for the sake of the child. To be honest with you, but we already knew that we was done. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to show you that no matter what new man you get, no matter what judge tells you something or whatever else it is, in regards to this boy here, I'm gonna be here no matter what
Do
happens.
you feel that the mother felt a sense of entitlement? You know, like what you were saying about rights to the child, just because you have them more. Because I relate to that feeling as well. Like when he would say something and I didn't agree with it, I'd be like, "What are you talking about? They're with me anyway, whatever." Do you feel there was an entitlement from her
I think
side? Or
there was, to be honest with you, but I think it was more about just being able to throw your power around and just
Control,
kind of just
yeah.
be in that space of control and just kind of let me know. Again, we was very young, when I
young,
think about it too.
yeah.
But it was never about her being in fear of
Anything.
anything. It was always a matter of controlling or whatever else. But again, like I said, I didn't help the situation with turning up and kicking up doors and doing all of this kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? And so it didn't really help. But I don't think there was too much of an entitlement thing. I think it was more controlled than entitlement.
Do you know what I would say? I would say that sometimes I think mums don't realise how hard it must be for a dad not to see their child.
Yeah.
And I say that because there are some dads who choose not to see their children. Yeah, we can't say there's not. There are some dads out there who choose not to see their children for whatever reason. Yeah, then they're not interested. So I think some mums think it's fine. Some mums think the man, he's not that bothered. Like even though that's a man's choice, if they're choosing not to, even when the woman's now doing it to a man and just saying, "Oh no, you can't come this weekend. You know, you can come next weekend." I think she just doesn't even see it as detrimental as it is. I think she just more sees it as, I'm not going to not let you, because some women will argue, I never said he could never see. I just said you can't come this week. Do you know what I mean? Or, you know, you might have had a day planned, a set day, and then she's like, no, things have come up. I'm busy now. You can't just, I think sometimes
Power
women,
play.
you know, kind of justify it to themselves, and they just think, you can, but when I say, at the times that I say.
Power play.
In touching on that though, and it feels so weird for me to sit here and say it now, years later, but I'm starting to understand why men give up.
And
I'm not saying if you was
Why?
never there, I'm not talking about you. I'm not speaking on your behalf. I don't know
Not
you.
you kind of
Not
man.
you,
not
you,
here for you.
not you.
Okay.
But I'm starting to understand why the man who has to deal with the roller coaster of emotions and the fighting and whatever else it is in order to be there for the child may eventually quit. I'm starting to understand it.
And why
Just
do you think that
from-
is?
Not to say that I'm justifying or
No,
No,
But
just let us
again,
know.
I'm
Like,
starting to
why?
understand.
What do you think he's feeling? Why is he?
over. Again, I've had two different experiences in regards to my two children. Very different. Two is right now. I'm sure we'll get into that in a minute. Right? But I'm starting to see it because I'm experiencing it myself. Now, I've always looked back at fatherhood, not parenthood, fatherhood, as this thing. I never had my dad around, but I watched my dad come into my house and raise my brother and go on holidays with my brothers and them do Christmas and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
But we've never done. I've never spent a night in my dad's house in 35 years of my life. Never. You know what I'm saying to you? So I've watched that happen. Whereas other people had the experience of just not having their dad around or having their dad in the house. It was one of the two. Either not having him around who was there. Me watching mine come in and pop out and fuck off and do that. Excuse my language.
That's all right.
But
Kids are in bed.
I forgot. Yeah.
There's no rules. There's no rules.
Good. yeah, so I had that experience. So I always said to myself as a father, I was never going to be that guy. Never. I always swore to myself and whatever else it is, and I've done my best to stick to it. In some of the experiences that I had with my first son's mum or whatever else it is, I had a lot more energy to deal with the roller coaster. I was 19, 20, 21.
You're up for the fight.
I'm
ready
up for it.
Ready to get anti at any point.
You see, now with all the experiences that I've seen my friends have had, I've had, and I hear all of these different stories from men's perspective and women's too. I've seen because I've seen there's a lot of bum men out there. There is. I've got friends that are bum men as fathers. Keep it 100 for you.
Tell them off.
No, do you know what? I don't even do that no more. God's coming for you. That's your business. I'm not even doing that
God's
no
watching.
more. Yeah, that's it. Just do your thing. But with some of my experiences, again, like I said, women not understanding the level of detriment it has is why I believe women don't understand why some men would quit. If you understand what I'm saying? Because you're not understanding the level of effect that it has on the person. So you'll never understand why they would stop doing it, if you see what I'm saying.
Now that I'm really close to someone who is, I'm really seeing it from a completely different point of view, from the man's point of view, because he's the one I'm supporting. Over the years, it's been my friends. baby father drama. So I've been like, whatever. But now in more recent years, going through friends and guys and things like that, it's really...
Also, I think some women will be in a position where even though they do know how it's hurtful and it's hurting a man, even though they know, the anger they have towards that man means they don't care. Do you see what I mean? Like, I don't care about your feelings. I don't care how it's hurting you, because you could give them the exact same scenario, like you said, with their friend, their male friend, or their male relative, and they will be able to understand and empathize. But it's a case of when it's their opposite person, they think, I don't care about your feelings. I don't care that you're hurting. Therefore, I'm able to continue to do this to you. Whereas if you did just stop for a minute, like the same way you can care about a stranger who's, going through something bad on the street, you'd see it and you would feel empathy. You should really be able to still empathize and think, regardless of our relationship.
That comes back to how you feel, though. How you feel about that person, that breakdown of relationship, that breakdown of communication.
It goes back
because
to you.
now it's resentment now. It's now I'm harboring hurt from that. So I'm not letting this go because I've got power here. Because I've got the child, I've got a bit of power, and that can hurt you.
In regards to power as well, one thing that I was having a conversation about recently, and I come to realize that I feel like, or I'm starting to feel like I'm starting to understand when men start to say, or baby fathers start to say, our only power in co-parenting situations is our finance.
Money, yeah.
And that's why men will be like, I'm not sending that money for you.
Because you'll start to listen if I stop running into
The way you say it,
because now you're going to listen.
But what about, there's some women who they take that power away by not needing your money.
Yeah.
Okay, but again, then I don't necessarily think that woman is... If she's still on the power trip like that, then really and truly, if she's not taking money from you, if she doesn't really care about your help or what, we're not talking about the same type of woman here. Do you know what I mean? It's a different woman that we're talking about here. The woman who's going to stop everything and listen to you now because that £50 didn't hit your account or that £150 didn't hit your account that week. We know who we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, it's true.
It's
Very
true.
true. Because, and to be honest, that, like you said, that's the kind of woman, who would stop you from seeing your child. That it kind of goes hand in hand. Like, they want your financial help.
This is my
you
thing.
can see their child, because there's,
it's like a trade.
But for me personally, I have been in a situation going on throughout the year. So, as I said once before, I did stop my daughter's dad from seeing her one time, and after that, I never did it. I saw in the moment. I realized. That's you can't ever do that again. Like I realized straight away at the time. But moving on after that, over years, there has been times when he hasn't paid me financially or whatever, and I had advice from some other people to say, don't let him see her then. And I was like,
there you go.
And I was like,
you see what I mean?
And I was like, can't do it.
Yeah.
I said, I don't care if he never gives me a penny. I will never look back to my child
and say, I stopped you from seeing your dad.
did not let you see
I
that.
don't know,
Like, I'm not. That's not in my ammo now. That's not in my armor.
I've always said, for me, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Yes, finance is super important in regards to raising children. We all know it doesn't need to be said. We know that. But I always think the time's more important. You don't get time back. Time you will never get back. That week, 2 weeks, 8 weeks that I don't get with my child, or 3 weeks or whatever else, I'll never get this time back.
You're never going to be 7 twice.
This is my whole point. Do you see what I'm saying to you? So when you're doing these things, all right, cool. I might pop up tomorrow and you think I'm the greatest dad in the world because I started to give you money. Now I'm getting all this access and whatever. The time has gone.
Yeah.
The time has gone. And this is what I'm currently dealing with now.
Shall we nicely move into that bit then?
It's cool. Go for it.
So what I wanted to talk about was, you know, when people have frivolous relationships, and we were talking about relationships before and how they're changing and how sex is more accessible and is more available to everyone now, and people are having more
Casual sex.
And children are born from casual relationships, and that's fine and whatever. But I feel like when that happens,
it can't be the beginning of a great co-parenting relationship. Surely it can't be if you don't even know each other or love each other like that. How can it be the foundation?
I think there just basically needs to be a basic respect. But before even you get to all of that, do you trust that person? Is that child yours? Are you going to be paying for this child? Are we... Do we know each other enough? Do we trust each other enough?
So as a man, if a woman just tells you that she's pregnant, like,
do you just believe it?
No.
Because obviously...
No, do you know what? If she tells you that she's pregnant...
It's yours.
And it's,
but
it's
do you
yours.
say, is it mine? Because
you ask?
I've always thought... I've only been pregnant once, So I'm just saying, I've always thought, how do women deal with it if the man says...
Are you sure that's mine?
Is it mine? I would have been like, boom.
How
like,
dare you?
Yeah, what do you mean? But...
It's a very reasonable question, to be honest with you, if you're being honest. If you two are not in a relationship...
If you're not in a relationship, then
that's a very reasonable question to ask. Is it mine?
Is it mine? Okay, and she says yes. Of course it is.
Then we've got extra things that we need to do now. First things first, I'll tell you this. Most men, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like most men's first thought in regards to a woman telling them they're pregnant outside of a relationship that they're in is, Lord God, this can't be happening to me. Please, Jesus, let me go to sleep and wake up and this is not happening. I'm telling you this. Unless that man secretly
is in love with you,
with her and whatever else it is, I'm telling you this.
Do you think he needs processing time?
He definitely needs processing time.
Definitely needs processing time.
Again, the next piece of energy depends on where he's at in life.
Yeah.
Is he ready to have children?
Is
he cool with it? Has he got a woman that he's seeing at the moment or whatever else it is? Is there somebody else who thinks that they're his girl at the moment? All of this kind of stuff is going on now. So you're racing through all of these thoughts. Now, my thing is this. If you're somewhat cool in regards to those things and you're not necessarily worried about having the child, then it's not too strenuous, I would imagine. Yeah? If you're in a place of, even if there ain't no other woman around or whatever else it is, and financially you're okay, but you don't necessarily want to have a child with this woman, you're now thinking about having a conversation about this not happening.
Yeah.
And
how does he then bring that to you?
How does he?
Some men will bring it to you.
I'm gonna say some
say
men
it blatant. You ain't having this kid.
Tell you.
Some man will tell you. I've got some brethren who are really dangerous. I'm saying you, man, are not like, they will tell you to the point where the level of fuckery he spoke to her with has made her go and do it because she wants nothing to do with him that much. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah, but then don't you think that that's why he's done it in that fashion?
It was to get what he wanted in the end.
He just don't want it. He didn't think about this. This wasn't some extra strategy. This is how he felt.
This was his
and
reaction.
He don't care about you like that. He don't care about your feelings. He don't care about your emotions or whatever. So he will tell you raw.
Can I ask you this? What do you think about women who, in that situation, make a decision to do it on their own?
How about this? let's talk about my life.
Go on then.
Let's talk about my life. So, where do we start with?
Is that what happened to you, basically?
Basically.
So you had a casual relationship.
I wouldn't even call it a relationship.
You had sex.
I had sex once.
Oh, it's always this one time.
And
Your
this is
miraculous sperm.
We should section this part for schools. We should section this part for schools.
I tell you this.
Because
I had
people
sex
think-
one time, kids.
Do you know what? You hear about the sex the one time. It takes only one time.
And it takes one time.
The maddest thing is,
You know that at
you'd
your
be
big
lying
age.
down there with your girlfriend for however long, sex
And
every
nothing
day,
happens.
nothing's happening, and then one day maybe she might fall pregnant. One day, maybe. You have this one off with this one little idiot that you should have never.
No insulting.
That you should have never. You should have never been there.
Yeah,
You had no business being
having
You had
there.
no
sex,
business
yes.
being there.
Yeah.
But you did.
You did.
You did.
It takes
Accountability.
two. No. It
You
takes
did.
two. Listen, one thing that I will always say, it takes two. The baby did not get here by itself. She didn't steal the sperm from a bin. And
Exactly.
I mean,
So-
some are doing that
no,
now.
yeah,
Some
but what
are
I'm
doing
saying,
it,
if it's not that, then
but it's
you,
not
you
that.
had
yeah,
sex.
100%. It takes two. We had sex. If she
Yeah.
didn't it goes without saying for me. It takes two. What then happened was, so I'll give you timing. So this happened just before the pandemic. So New Year's Eve, 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just before the pandemic.
literally. So the pandemic started what, March 2020?
Yeah. So New Year's Eve, woohoo!
Woohoo! Happy New Year!
New Year, happy.
Literally.
Your New Year's about
Cool.
to get real happy.
Then about 3 months later, I was in Tottenham Hell Station or Seven Sisters, one of the two of them.
Wow.
And I was going to see one of my friends, and she was from that area.
Okay.
Come out the train station, and I seen her. She was coming out the train station at the same time. Whatever. Oh, how are you? Because we're not hostile.
Because you
in
look
any
cool,
capacity.
yeah, okay.
We're cool.
So you just...
But I've just seen you, whatever. I'm just coming back from work. But I've noticed she's got the badge on. The baby on board badge. Yeah? So I'm like,
Oh, you expect it.
Hold on. Let's just
How-
break down.
how
One for a
long?
minute. No, for a minute. So I just want to ask, was your first thought that
what-
this
that
is
this
mine?
is mine.
Or was your first thought like, oh, she's pregnant?
I need to ask you what the fuck is going on here.
Did you? Like, you the
Straight
timing
away,
was, you knew
like,
straight away.
I'm like, I haven't
Oh,
seen you in a
really?
couple of months. I haven't seen you in a couple of months. It's not been 6 or whatever else it is. So it's very early stages.
Okay,
Do you know
so
what I mean?
light
So
bulb went off
I'm
straight
like,
away.
Whoa. Rah, pregnant, yeah? Yeah, the guy, such and such. So she automatically said,
It's not
The
yours.
guy.
it's nothing to you. It's nothing to do
To
with
do
you.
with you, yes. And you're like,
No, I didn't even breathe easy yet
you not
because
believe
my
her?
skin wasn't settled for some reason.
oh,
Your
really?
My
intuition,
spirit
you
was
see the
off.
soul.
My spirit
I
was off. So I'm
see.
like,
Because some men
Sure,
would have
yeah.
been like,
because I'm just thinking,
I'm free.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
No. I wanted to feel like that, but I
Yeah,
wasn't
you
feeling like
didn't.
that yet.
I see.
So I asked again, sure, yeah. And then she started to get into the fact that the guy had blocked her once he told her and all of this kind of stuff. So bear in mind, I've got somewhat of a friendship with this person already.
Okay.
So we're cool.
All right. Okay.
So I'm like, raw, piss take, man, I fucked up, boom, 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 and all of
Says
this
him
kind of
because
shit.
it's not him.
No, but
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
easy to talk
Just being
about other
support-
men when
being
it's not
it's
you.
supportive. But I'm being,
Being
supportive.
supportive
You're
as a
somewhat
friend.
as a friend.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
You just told me that you're pregnant and the
Yeah.
man
And
you got
blocked you.
blocked.
And
That's
you
Okay.
rude. That's
I want to
rude.
see the
Do you know what I
same
mean?
exact same energy when it then.
Watch when the story spins. You'll
That's what I'm saying. I want to
you'll
see the exact same kindness.
I don't know if you'll get that. I don't know if you'll get that. Give me a minute.
Alright, go
Let
on,
me
go
get
on,
there.
go on, go on.
So, cool. Time's passed or whatever. So she's told me it's nothing to do with me. I've gone with it. But weeks later, something's just tickling my spirit. So I've messaged her like, yo, like, how sure are you? She's like, listen, nothing to do with you. Cool. Don't stress. Nothing to do with you. I'm like, cool. I'm out of here. Going to live my life.
Why do you
Did
think
that
that
make your
was?
spirit settle
Sorry?
now?
No, but why do you think she was saying that? Do you think she had a man that she wanted it to be?
I
Do you
can
see what I
assu-
mean?
I can
'cause
imagine
usually
so.
women, if that is the case, if they have slept with two people at the same time, usually basically they're picking the person
Who they
that they
want.
would
They would-
prefer
I can
it to
imagine.
be.
I can imagine
Yeah,
that was the case.
okay, cool,
That's what I
okay.
can do is imagine because
wasn't
I'm
trying to
going
pick
off of, is it me? No. Is it me? No. What else do you want me to do? You know what I mean? So we've done that twice. You told me no. I've gone to live my life. Bear in mind, we're in 2020 at this
Yeah.
point. October 2021.
October 2021.
October 2021.
Wow, I thought he was going to say October 2020. So
No,
we've got
no.
a whole
year and
Child's
change.
born.
right.
So the child's
October
born or whatever.
2021.
Cool. I'm in my yard. Never forget, chilling, minding my business, getting on with my day. I remember going to the kitchen to make a cup of tea and coming back. This is afternoon time. I was having a lazy day. Never forget it.
That's a good
Yeah, 'cause
storyteller,
he
innit?
had
I'm
no-
on the cliff with you.
Listen.
I'm on the cliff.
If only it was a story, it's his life. Carry on.
Literally.
It's his life.
So, remember coming back into my room and seeing my phone had a missed call. Looked and I'm like, I ain't spoken to you in ages. Why's she with me for? But not really thinking too much. Something in the back of my brain said, I wonder if, nah. You know what I mean? So I've called her back. Oh, what's going on? You're right. Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, I'm cool. Da-da-da-da-da. So I'm saying to her, oh, the little one's born now, must be big, getting big and whatever else. How is he or she? She's like, oh yeah, he's cool. Go for it.
No,
yeah,
go.
yeah,
I'm like, come
so
on.
like, he's cool. Yeah, he's been teething and been quite sick recently, but that's what I wanted to call you about. At this moment,
You knew.
no, I paused, so it just went silent. You could hear a pin
Yeah,
drop.
because it's silent for me now. Continue.
Yeah. My response was, respectfully, the fuck are you telling me for? Honestly.
Well, you thought she was just telling you that her son's sick?
No,
It's nothing to,
no,
like,
but you're saying to me, but that's what
what I
I've called
wanted.
you about.
Yeah.
Okay, why?
Why? Why are you calling me to tell me that your son's sick?
Yeah,
Bear in
why?
mind,
Why?
That's what I'm saying. Surely your brain is
Anyway.
Go on.
putting
so
it together.
my brain's not putting
So
it
that
together
you think
because
she's
I've
just calling
asked
to
you.
tell you that her son is sick?
Let him tell the story. Come on.
So
I mean, we know where it's going.
I know where it's going, but I want to hear how.
yeah, so it's just my brain has just gone blank. The room's just got dark. It's no longer afternoon. It's nighttime now. Like it's just literally this is how it feels. I swear to God. I swear to you. So I'm in this room and I'm saying to her, what are you telling me? She's saying to me, there's just certain things that I've been seeing in his facial expressions that remind me of you. And I'm like, what are you fucking talking? Like at this point,
Because she can't get the words out, basically. She's not just saying it as it is.
but you can't tell me it's my child because you don't know this. You have no DNA.
That's
test.
what
And
I'm
plus,
saying.
On top
That's
of
what I'm
this,
saying.
I've
What is
asked you twice, rude girl, and you told me no way.
That's what I'm saying. Did she have a story about, I thought it was this person's, I've had a DNA? There was no story. Just, he looks like you.
Just
Can
I've
look
been
like
seeing
anybody.
things. I've just been seeing things in the certain facial expressions that you've done that's just been reminding me of you of late or whatever, and saying that you've been looking at my Instagram and trying to see a resemblance between my other child and this one, and looking at pictures of my family.
So she's
to see
just
if
called
you
you on
can
a
see-
hunch, basically. She's about to tip your whole world
Literally.
upside down
She knew.
on a
Literally.
hunch. I mean,
So-
yeah, she knew.
She knew.
I'm like, right, I can't talk to you right now. Right this very minute, I can't speak to you. I need.
You're
What are you
entitled to processing
No,
time.
of
Yeah,
course,
I
because
need-
that must have been
Because she's been processing that for a while.
a while
she's had
before,
her time.
before she's called you.
She's had 9 months.
I'm just saying, yeah,
plus
she's
the year.
yeah, yeah.
he's been
You're
born
entitled to your.
and the extra month. So you've had a very long time, sweetie. A very long time. So I'm like,
Wow.
at this point, who the fuck do you call? I can't call my mum, but I can. I can.
Yeah,
But-
but again,
But
you're
you
about to
have-
give
you
her.
haven't got
I don't
anything
even know what to tell
concrete.
you. I
Yeah,
have
you've got
nothing to
nothing
tell you,
concrete.
but
So DNA.
how do I even express how I'm feeling right now?
Yeah.
I can't tell no one. I'm just in this black hole about to find out. Because obviously we're having to have a DNA test. I can't speak to you now,
Yeah.
but we're going to have to do a DNA test.
Yeah. How long does something like that take?
It took minutes to come to my house. How it felt. That's how it felt. Like it got there in minutes. Like, I said DNA and there was a knock at my door, bro. That's what it felt. No, literally. No, it came from it was ordered. It came within like 5 days,
Okay.
and then
But what I'm saying is, did you do it straight away? Like you didn't delay it. Like you didn't
No,
be
there
like,
was
I
no-
don't want to do it.
listen. Let me tell you about the thought process of that.
Do you see what I mean? Because
There-
that's
there's a
interesting.
massive- there's a
I
massive
think
thought
women need to
process.
know about
Imagine,
this.
yeah.
There's a massive thought process with that. So I went from being raw and honest with you lot now. I went through the thought process of not doing the DNA test and trying to live my life. Conscience will let me do that.
Yeah.
Weren't gonna happen.
Eventually, yeah.
Some could. Some could.
I went even deeper than that. Even worse. I thought about paying somebody else to do the DNA test. All it took was for a little crackhead to pass me, I give you a tenner until you swab this twice and I send it off, you know. It's going to come back.
It's not
0.
yours. No, your conscience couldn't let you live with that.
No, because you know
Exactly.
that your son's out there.
Exactly.
potentially.
Or you wouldn't know.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Cool. Thought about that. and then you're sitting there thinking about doing this DNA
I bet you
test.
thought about everything, man.
I thought about everything.
Wow.
But obviously the only option is
Just do it.
To do it and find out.
and find out. So you can live peacefully.
Can I ask you, do you know if you had a feeling inside of what way you wanted it to go? Like, did you want it not to? Did you want him not to be yours?
Yeah,
like at the
100%.
time. Do you know what I mean?
I'll be 100% honest. At the time when you randomly call me,
Yeah,
of
Of course, you've not met him. You've not no attachment, and you just think
I'm not ready for this.
if it says no, then this never happened,
not
and
ready
this
for
can
this.
just go away.
Remember, I've only got 2 children. It's been 14 years since I've had another one. Do you know what I mean? So I've been.
You wasn't trying to.
I wasn't trying to be. If I wanted to have children, I could have children. Do you know what I mean? But I'm very selective because of my first experience.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I wasn't trying to do that again.
Yeah.
The nightmare got worse. Do you see what I'm saying to you? So anyway, we've ordered the DNA test. It's come to my house. I looked at it for about 3 days. Could not open the box and do it. Couldn't.
I mean, that's fair enough. Like, it's you're about to.
Couldn't. Yeah. So
Change
I
your life.
called someone that I was cool with at the time. She came, and I sat there and I cried, man. Like literally, she was opening the box, yeah, and the tears just started running. I'm like, how the fuck is this happening to me? Like, this is Jeremy Kyle 101 right now.
Literally,
like, this is happening to me. I can't believe this is happening. So I remember doing the swabs, whatever else it is, 10 times this side, 10 times that side. Put it in and send it off. You've got to wait 14 days.
14 days.
Do you know what 14 days feels like? Forget your PLT parcel that got missent somewhere.
That you can
And you're
order for
upset
next
because
day
you
delivery.
know what I mean? You're pissed because you can't wear it on Friday. I've got to wait 14 days, no options. So I'm sitting there and I'm waiting for this email to come through to my phone.
Is that how you're going to get the result? In an email?
Via email.
You're about to find out if you're a dad in
Via
an email.
Literally.
Imagine.
And what, both of you about to find out at the same time, probably?
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
So I got the email.
In between this 2 weeks,
Yeah.
were you and her communicating at all?
Very little.
And
didn't
how
speak to
was
her.
that communication at that time?
What she was doing was mind fucked things. Like
She's
bear
trying
in
to
mind,
get you enticed to see the child.
sending me pictures.
Yeah, she's not, so she's not
Don't-
waiting
I
for the
don't
result.
like-
She knew.
Don't
I
send
know,
me
she
pictures
knew.
and that.
You know them ones.
Don't
She
send
damn
me
well
pictures
knew.
and that and whatever else it is. Oh, his name is such and such. He was born on such and such.
Yeah,
a day,
just
and
wait,
he
just
was
wait.
He was christened on. I don't know. Why are you telling me all this
Just
stuff?
wait.
Okay.
Because it's
see what I'm
like, it
saying?
is
Yeah.
like Jerry McCall show. Like,
Yeah.
what if it turns out he wasn't yours? Okay, you just told me for no reason.
For no
Goodbye.
reason. You know what I'm
So
saying
I
to
know 2 weeks is a long time, but
It's a
you just
lifetime.
have to wait. Yeah, but you just have to wait because it's a massive thing that you either need to deal with in this way or that way. There's no in
It
between
just
way.
shows, though, that the difference in the father and the mother's processing in that time while you're both waiting, because she's
If
got
I'm
the
being
child.
honest with you, I'm keeping it 100 with you again. I don't give a fuck about your process at this point. Shall I tell you why? 9 months. Yeah? 9 months, yeah? Pregnancy. The child is now 1 and change. You've had all this time to think, process, chat to your brethren, cousin, a counsellor, your auntie, your granny, and everybody else. You had the opportunity to speak to me when I asked you. You had the opportunity to say to me, potentially.
Yeah.
You had the opportunity to tell me then, to be honest with me then, and say, listen, there was 2 of you, 3 of you, 9 of you, whatever. Give me the opportunity to potentially prepare myself for my life to change.
Also, she robbed you, obviously, of the first
Yeah,
year of your child's life. Like, that.
I'm just imagining that she didn't know. She didn't know that you were the father. And for this whole time, she's now looking, and when that light bulb moment hit for her, that she's thinking, oh, actually, maybe not. She would have gone through another set of processing, and yeah, you're well within your rights to say you didn't care about that, but she must have had that herself. But like you're saying, she's had all of that time, and now you've got to deal with it, and she didn't, I guess,
Take me
gift you
into
that.
yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
my whole thing, because
Yeah.
again, we're now looking at me having to take you into consideration and how you may have potentially felt at the time. who the fuck's thinking about how I'm feeling?
I'm just conscious of time, so I just want to quick move on to.
You found out.
Obviously, you found out, and he was yours. How quickly, or how can you process now going from you didn't know you had a son?
I was there within 2 weeks. I went to go and see him 2 weeks after I got the DNA test. I took my big son with me, and that was the first time we went up there. Very difficult because there's no attachment. This boy don't know me.
I just about like my own child that I had from birth. I'll be honest.
Do you know what I mean?
Not that interested in another one. If I met her, I'd be like, I'm not really.
By choice, though.
I'm just saying.
By choice.
I'm just saying.
Do you know what I mean?
So I can imagine, like, you see these things on the telly, like, and you can't just have instant connection.
Exactly. There was no sort of. The funny thing was, which kind of gave me a little bit of life, was there was a bit of an attachment between him and his brother.
Okay.
Like
children just adapted a bit quicker.
Clicked very quickly. And I was looking at pictures of the two of them together, and I'm like, "Raw, this is a bit mad." It's like I had this child by myself.
And so this was the end of 21.
Yeah, this was October 2021.
Right. And so
we're only halfway through 2022.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're only halfway through 2022. So how's it going?
It's a journey and a half, man, to be honest with you. Things are not stable now, to be honest with you.
Are you seeing him regularly?
No. I'm not even getting to speak to him regularly right now.
I think it hasn't been long enough. I'll be on. Like it's been.
But is that because of your choices, or is that because of?
No, my main concern right now is making sure that there's a stable routine or some sort of foundation in regards to me being there.
Yeah.
Let's forget about the money for a minute. The money will come, whatever. That's not a problem. Let's talk about him having a relationship with his dad. Bear in mind, this child no longer doesn't live in London.
Okay.
That also makes it worse. He lives in Bristol.
Right, so it's far away.
So it's not like I can pop in or whatever else it is.
Yeah.
And also your family.
This is my thing, everything. So
just everything. You can't even if you were 100% willing, you can't just give this boy to you. I'll be honest, like he doesn't know you. You can't just say, "Here you go. You got to go with your dad for the weekend," because you have to. Like, this has been done to him as well.
So this is kind of what it is at the moment. So I'm in this space of begging for an understanding right now of why you feel the way you do in regards to just not caring about him having his dad about, so to speak.
Okay.
Like you're not returning my calls more time than not. You don't seem to quick. So now I've asked you to bring him down so we can spend time with his brother and my mum and whatever else. My mum's an old lady. My mum's 74 years old. Do you see what I'm saying? So her travelling to Bristol to see her grandson,
not on a regular
it's not
basis.
that. Do you know what I mean? Her response was, he doesn't like the train or coach. To be honest with you, it's too much for him. He'll be 2 in September. We're not talking about a newborn. Yeah, to be honest with you, coaches, I understand.
It's 2 and you don't know where he is. You don't know if he's on the coach or anything. You don't know where he is.
An hour and 30 minutes on a train ain't doing that to him. To be honest with you. You see what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
So this is where I'm at. If you see what I'm saying, you can just gauge from me saying to you, I will pay for everything. I will pay for you to come down or whatever else it is. I just break it down for you. For me to go to Bristol is £75 on a train by myself if I just randomly rock up.
Yeah.
If I take my son with me, it's close to £100. Closer to £100. I'm not going to stay in your house, which means I need to book a hotel.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It's £100 and odd, to be honest with you, on a weekend. We're talking about, I'm not going to go and spend the afternoon there and then trip out.
Of course, come back. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm going. So
there's hurdles that you have to.
That's before I've had bread and water. Do you know what I mean? I've got to feed my big son plus the little one.
Also, you also have to get her to even agree that you should come and that these dates are available.
All of this.
There's a lot of hurdles, and that's why I'm thinking the time frame is too soon. I would like to think that in the future, you know, everyone goes through parenting journeys, and I would like to hope that your journey later will have massive improvements and work out for the best for you and your son. And I think that's something everybody should take away, that it's always a journey. Like our co-parenting relationships have been up and down. Sometimes they start off bad, they're good. And it just seems very early for you at the moment.
What I would say is on that note is support men that are going through these journeys.
Yeah.
Because what I will say is this: even guys that are going through the whole mediation, going through court, before you get to a result where you feel like progress is happening, he's dealing with a roller coaster. His emotions and all of these things that he's never had to tap into before. He doesn't necessarily know how to deal with them, whatever else it is. That's why suicide's so high for men, or whichever else it is, and all these things. They're dealing with things that they've never had to deal with before, and nobody's coaching them with.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Nobody's helping them. They don't feel like they have the outlet. They speak to the man them say, I hear you still, my brother. I hear you. And then it's finished.
Imagine.
That's literally, that's therapy.
True,
that's therapy in the end.
We need to come together better as a community.
So if you know that your brethren is going through that rocky time, so to speak, or whatever in regards to it, I beg you just come and chat to him and have that moment with him ever so often, because I'm telling you, it's a very, very dark hole. Very, very dark hole.
Must be so isolating.
Yeah.
It is.
We take that away from this episode then.
Yes.
I mean, your story was a
deep one.
and
Jeremy
a touching one.
And we could have spoken about this a little longer. I'll be
But
real.
I think another episode would really should be spoken about what we can do to support men. And what men can do to support men, but what mothers can do to see it from the other side and support men as well. That go through things like this.
100%.
Thank you so much for coming
and sharing. Appreciate
Never a
it.
problem, man. Never a problem. Hope to see you guys again soon. And I'm going to be pestering you lot to jump on my show again soon. So I don't think because you lot got fancy podcasts now, you lot can't come on my show.
Too nice. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for watching When the Kids Go to Bed. It's been good.